Hello everyone and happy December! The countdown to Christmas has officially begun and we are now in the most wonderful and magical time of year. And what better way to fully embrace the coziness and magic and wonder of this time of year than with some magical books. So in today's video I want to share with you the books that I'm planning to read throughout the month of December. Some of them are a bit Christmassy, but most of them are just kind of wintry, or they fit this time of year in my head anyway. So let's begin this video with a dose of reality. I have been in a massive reading slump recently. I have just had no motivation, desire, energy, I guess the willpower to read. Normally, I want to read every evening. That's the thing that is restful to me. It's the thing that I enjoy and look forward to at the end of a day of work. It's what I enjoy doing on the weekend when I have free time. But I just haven't. I haven't felt that desire, and I think I've been in a bit of a reading slump, which means that my reading goal has taken a bit of a hit. So my reading goal for this year was 50 books and I'm currently on 40. Which means that I need to read 10 books in December to reach my reading goal. I don't know how realistic this is. So even though that would be a lovely goal to achieve, I think for me, I'm having to adjust my expectations a little bit and just decide on what's realistic. And I guess I wanted to share that at the start of this video because sometimes I think for me, I have to take a step back and realise that a lot of the goals I set for myself are very, not unrealistic, they're just a challenge. I set myself challenging goals and I think I've been having to realise that it's okay to not achieve those really high goals that I set for myself, and that actually 40 books in a year, or 45 as I'm gonna reset my goal to be, is a really good amount of books. So I just wanted to start with that to say, if you're feeling like you're getting to the end of the year and you're not achieving the goals that you had set for yourself for the year, or you're thinking this thing that I really wanted to do didn't happen, or it feels impossible to achieve now, just be easy on yourself and just allow yourself to enjoy this time of year without feeling like it's a tick box month where you've got to check off all of those last things for the year. So that being said, I have 5 books on this list of books that I want to read over December. If I can read more, that would be amazing, but this is the 5 that I'm realistically setting for myself. So 3 of the books I have here physically, 2 of them I have ordered, but I wanted to do the video today so that it can go out in time for when I needed to go out. So I'll just insert a picture of those books on the screen somewhere, but you will probably see them popping up in other videos throughout the month. So we'll start with the books that I have physically here. The first one is Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. This is one that I've been reading now for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. It's a slow book, but I'm really enjoying it, and I want to finish this one before I move on to any other Christmassy books this year. I started reading this one at the end of November, and it's actually a very good transition book from late autumn into December, early winter, because it starts in the kind of grey and dreary November time, and I'm now halfway through the book and we've just had Christmas Eve, and so Christmas Day is coming, and so I think actually it kind of works really well for this time of year. This story follows a young woman named Mary Yellen, I think, and she is living on a farm with her mother, but her mother passes away quite early on in the book and she doesn't have any other immediate family around her. The mother's last wish is for Mary to go and live with her aunt at Jamaica Inn, which is now where the aunt lives. and to go and be with her. And Mary has a lot of fond memories of her aunt. She remembers her being a very bubbly and happy, joyful person. But she doesn't really want to leave her home. She likes where she lives. She dreams of owning a farm. That is the life that she wants for herself. But because it's her mother's last wish, she goes off to go and live with her aunt. However, she hires a carriage to go to the Jamaica Inn. And on this journey, she begins to hear some strange things about the Jamaica Inn, and that it's not really a place for young women. In fact, the man who is driving her to the Jamaica Inn is quite shocked that she is going and very much warning her not to. When she gets there, she finds that her aunt is a shell of a woman. She is not the person that she remembers at all. She is timid and quiet and really reserved and almost looks like a ghost. And her uncle, who she has never actually met, is a very violent, aggressive and creepy man. And so we follow Mary as she moves in with her aunt and uncle and begins to learn what is going on at the Jamaica Inn. What is this thing that everybody steers well clear of? And she kind of makes it her mission to save her aunt from what she's going through. But in the process, she becomes a little bit enraptured in what's happening herself. Just like all of Daphne du Maurier's other books, this one is so atmospheric and eerie and just so intriguing. You really don't know who you can trust. I would say this one feels a little bit slower paced to me than the other Daphne du Maurier books I've read so far. At least I'm finding it quite it's just slow to get through, but whenever I sit down and read it, I am really enjoying it. So this is the one I want to finish first. So I've been feeling quite an urge to reread childhood books recently, and particularly I really want to reread the Chronicles of Narnia. I may reread the prequel book, which is The Magician's Nephew, but I particularly want to reread The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe this year. I mean, this book is Christmas childhood classic to me. The movie is so Christmassy. The book, it just reminds me of Christmas. I mean, there is Father Christmas, there is Eternal Winter, there is a Snow Queen, there is all the things you want in a Christmassy book. And I absolutely love Narnia. I haven't read these books for so many years, but I have read them. I think I've read every book in the series at least 5 times. So it kind of feels like a warm hug reading these books. And then following along with classics, I also picked up this copy of Alice in Wonderland from a secondhand bookshop recently, and it has Alice in Wonderland, and then also, yes, it has Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass, Phantasmagoria, A Sea Dirge, and then some other ones as well. I did not realise there were 7 different stories related to Alice in Wonderland, but they're all in here. But I would particularly like to read The Adventures of Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. I've really enjoyed reading more classics recently that some of my favourite childhood films are based on, and kind of seeing where the original story compares and contrasts to the movie, or my kind of childhood perception of the story. And I've really been enjoying doing that, and I really want to read Alice in Wonderland to kind of see how different and similar it is to the very famous Disney movie. I also want to read Peter Pan as well for the same reasons, but I think this Christmas I'm going to go with Alice in Wonderland. So the next 2 books are ones I've ordered and I don't have yet. But the first one is another classic, and that is The Nutcracker, following along with the theme of childhood movies that I want to compare to the original story. One of my favourite Christmas films when I was a little girl was the Barbie Nutcracker movie. I don't know if you've seen that, but it was really, really good. And I used to love watching that every year. And I think that shaped my understanding of the Nutcracker story. So I just have a perception of the story, and I'm really intrigued to see where it originated in fairy tale form. So I'm really excited to read that one this year. And the final book is A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross, which is the sequel and I believe the final book, because I think it's just a duology, to A River Enchanted, which I read a few months ago and absolutely loved. So A River Enchanted follows a bard who is teaching music at a university. However, he's called home to the island that he's from, which is this very mysterious island that nobody really wants to visit. People are actually scared to sail across the sea to this island because they fear the spirits that surround it. And he's called home because all of these girls have been going missing, and they believe that him and his music will somehow help them to find the girls. And so he returns home, and the story follows him as he is trying to solve this mystery, as well as coming face to face with his childhood nemesis and rebuilding relationships that he is lost and have been broken since he moved away. And I was so pleasantly surprised by this story. I loved it so much that I have been really enjoying Rebecca Ross's other books as well recently, so I'm very excited for this one. I have ordered this one, but it's on pre-order, so it doesn't come out until next week, I think. But that is one that I can't wait to read once it comes out. So those are all of the books that I would like to read this December. I really desperately want to know what your Christmassy book recommendations are, because as well as those books, I would really just like to read a cheesy, cozy, Christmassy, romantic kind of book. So if you have a recommendation for that sort of thing, a cheesy romance around Christmas that is just fast-paced and just heartwarming, then please let me know what books you would recommend within that category. I'm so desperate to read one. I don't read a lot of cheesy romance books. I barely read them at all, but I'm just in the mood for it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful start to this magical month, and I'll see you very soon with the next video.